Hey guys, I'm back again and I'm here to do my September wrap up. Okay, so September was an okay month. I've read, let's see, one, two, five books I think I have here. As you know, September was a month that kind of went really fast. At the end of the month, I had the Festival America, which thank you to all of those people who took the time to watch that video. Ages to put that together so that it could be really like watchable. But thank you for watching it. I really appreciate that. And also welcome to all the new subscribers. I notice there's been a lot of new subscribers at the moment. Welcome. This is a place where we talk about books and we try to review them and we try to really have like discussions around books, what's in them, are they good, are they not so good, etc., etc. So let's get started with this wrap up. The first book that I read in the month of September was this one, was Lazaretto. Now this is the second, this is the second or the third, no, it's the second book that I have read by this author, Diane McKinney Whetstone. I read earlier Leaving Cecil Street. And this was the pick that was in the cart that my husband, all the books that he's chosen. This was one of them. So I read this one. And this is a very lovely story about a Lazaretto. So a Lazaretto is like a type of hospice where people are detained when they have communicative diseases. I don't know if did I say that correctly? Diseases that you can catch. And so this was a Lazaretto that was just outside of Philadelphia. Apparently that Lazaretto is still there. And that was the inspiration for this novel. So this is a novel. It's hard to talk about this one because there's a lot that happens and there's a lot of twists and turns. But this is a novel about a young girl. It opens with a young girl who has been brought to a small clinic because she's having, issues, cramps and things like that. And she's pregnant. Turns out she delivers the baby. And from there, the story goes on a whirlwind. The writing is very, very good. Diane McKinney Whetstone is an excellent storyteller and writer. She knows how to go about weaving the story and she knows about developing characters really well. It is mostly focused around Philadelphia, a little bit in New York. And it is a novel that talks a lot about community and family, what that means and how it doesn't always mean it's always blood, but community is important, family is important. This is a great story. I wasn't really sure what I was getting into when I started to read it, but I was quickly engrossed and into the story. And I would definitely read another book by Diane McKinney Whetstone, which I think I still own 2 books by her that I could still pick up. So I highly recommend this one. This one came out a while ago because this is not new. This is a little bit of a backlist. Let's see. It came out in 2016. So there you have it. And this is a lovely picture of the Lazaretto that is being written about in the novel. I highly recommend it. It's really, really a good read. Okay, the next book on my list is this one right here, Blacktop Wasteland. So good. And then, of course, I read this other one right here, Razor Blade Tears, from S.A. Cosby. I highly, highly, highly recommend. Blacktop Wasteland is about this is like a 4-star. And of course, the main character in the story's name is Beauregard. They call him Bug for short. And in this one, it's Ike and what is the other guy's name? Ike and I think it's Buddy Lee or something like that. I can't remember what the guy's name is. So this is a story about a character who tries to make extra money by racing cars. And he does a race at the beginning of the novel. And he clearly has the better vehicle and is going to win. And he is supposed to win the money, but in fact, they are ripped off by some people that are in the race with him and some people outside. It's like they set this up in order to steal from the people who are going to be betting and those who were going to be winning. And so from there, the story goes off into this kind of dark story that is unputdownable. It's really, really good. And I like the character of Beauregard quite a bit. Now, this one is Razorblade Tears, which was, I think, pretty much the last book that I read of the month of September. And this one, it starts off with the death of a gay couple, 2 guys, 1 black, 1 white. And basically their fathers get together and they decide to go out and figure out who killed their sons, and they want to get revenge. Now, the thing about this one that's really good is it has a lot of social commentary in it about race and class and, just about the LGBTQ community. And it's done really, really well. I highly recommend this one. I highly recommend both of them. This is a 4, but this is definitely a 5. Just wonderful, well-written. The 2 fathers are endearing, even though they treated their sons like crap when they were alive, and now they regret. And, so as they're looking for their killers, they're sort of repenting to themselves and to each other in their own way. Very, very interesting novel. Very quick read. I highly recommend it. And I also read this one, which is John Henry Days by Colson Whitehead. Now, this is a kind of interesting story. So I buddy read this with my friend Leslie, and we both thought this was about a 3-star read. And we could clearly see that this was the beginning of Colson Whitehead's very particular writing style. This book is, I think, Colson Whitehead's 2nd novel, if I'm not mistaken. So it's early days. His first debut novel was The Intuitionist, which I still haven't read yet. But this is a story about the legend of John Henry. So John Henry was supposed to be this black man who was really strong and who could work really hard, and he could lay track, very fast, faster than any other man around. And then the legend is that they put John Henry up against a machine, and eventually what happens is John Henry goes up against the machine, and he barely, he doesn't win, and as a result, he dies from the exertion of all the work. So in this book, what Colson Whitehead does is he explores the role of the black man, the black American man, but not only his role, but like the expectations that we have on black men in general. And he does this through exploring the legend of John Henry. And he does it also through using characters who are junketeers. And these junketeers go to this event where they're supposed to be honoring John Henry in this small town. And at the same time, there's also a young woman there whose father was an avid lover of John Henry and his legend and had been collecting anything and everything he could find about John Henry. So she's there because her father is dead now, and she's looking to see if she should, either give these things or sell them or something to this city, this small town, who wants to make a museum around John Henry. So it also gets into this idea of who should be telling history. And how we should look at who's telling history to see if they're really telling it right, or, if it needs to be corrected. It's really, and it's also the importance of our history, and how that is a huge responsibility in a to a certain degree, uh, to be able to recount history, whether it be through a fiction novel, or through an art piece, or through any other kind of art form, or even just writing, nonfiction novels and articles. So the book, it has a lot of character to it. There's moments where it's straight up funny, and then there's some moments where you're just kind of like, nah, it can be a little boring, or you're trying to make the connection of, why am I reading this section? Why do I not understand why this section I don't understand, like it doesn't fit. So to read John Henry Days, you're going to have to be patient, and you're going to have to take your time to make those connections. I highly recommend reading it, and maybe reading it with a friend or two, because it could also help you piece things together. Because I feel like Colson Whitehead's writing is very much like doing a puzzle. So when you get your puzzle pieces, what do? You make your border first. Then afterwards, you start making clumps, of pieces of the puzzle together, and then eventually you put it all together. And that's kind of how he writes, in essence. At least that's how it feels in this novel. But now his writing is much more finessed, and he has his style down. It's very different, the style. I wouldn't say it's very different, but let's say it's or more well-oiled machine now than it is in this particular novel. But I'm not mad that I read it. I'm very happy that I finally got to it. So I'm working down my list of books from Colson Whitehead, and I'm pretty happy with it. And I was lucky enough to get this one signed by him. So I'm working my way down the list of books, and hopefully I will be able to read the rest. So that's what we have. I think my next read from him will be Crook Manifesto, because I read Harlem Shuffle earlier in the year, and so now I would like to finish that off and get to Crook Manifesto. Last but not least, I have this one right here, which is The Unsettled by Ayanna Mathis. Now, this one was not really my cup of tea. This is Ayanna Mathis. She wrote, her debut novel was The 12 Tribes of Hattie, which I have not read, so I don't know. I can't compare with this one. But this one was not doing it for me. Now, this one has two main characters, which we follow for, I would say, a good third of the book. It's mostly focused on them. And we have one woman whose name is Ava, and she has her son, Toussaint. And Ava has just left her husband, who is a Nigerian, I think, origin man. And she's left him, and she has literally nowhere to go. She doesn't have any money, hardly. They just have their bags of stuff that he basically threw out of the house, when she said she wanted to leave. And so she is living in a home, for, women who are homeless without with their children. So we follow her living in this place, and we quickly come to the realization that Ava has some mental issues. She has mental issues, and not only that, she's making bad decisions. She makes bad decisions pretty regularly, and she's not keeping up with her child. But then there's another man that is in her life from before as well, who comes into the picture a little bit later on in the book, and things change. So I can't tell you how things change, because that would be giving up the book completely. But what I will tell you is that I feel like in this book, there is too damn much going on. And this is the reason why it's hard to, engulf yourself into story properly, because one minute we have the story going on with Ava. Then we have another story going on in the South in Alabama with her mother. And there's also something going on with her son. There's just too much going on. And another thing is, I don't like the way she's gone about painting this character of Ava. I feel like she could have tried to make us understand her a bit more. And it feels like when you start to read it, it feels like it's like you came in the middle of the joke. Like somebody was telling a joke before you got there, and then suddenly now you're there and you're hearing half the joke. Everybody gets to the end of the joke with you. Everybody else is laughing, and you're going, I don't get the joke. I don't see what's so funny. And I think this is the reason why I had difficulty getting into it. It's because that's how I felt the entire time I was reading the book. It was as if, though, that I was placed into a situation that I wasn't fully understanding, that she was not describing in a way that I could understand it, or even relate to Ava a little bit. And it was annoying, and it was kind of frustrating. So Ayanna Mathis was at Festival America, and I sat in on one talk that she was in, and she said things in the talk to me that made no damn sense. I won't even get into what she said. Just trust me, it made no damn sense. And so that made me question even more, what was her reasoning behind writing this book? And had she really thought through carefully what it was she wanted us as readers to get from the book? And like, I was pulled left and right, and I felt like the storytelling was just kind of too drawn out because there was too much going on. And I just wanted her to get to it, because the book itself, it is only, let's see, it's only 300, let's see. Oh, Jesus, no page numbers. It's about 315 pages. So that's not excessively long. But why did it feel like I was reading a 500-page book? That's the thing I couldn't get. Like, why does it feel like I'm reading 500 pages? I don't know, but this was a no for me. I thought it was interesting because it was blurbed by Jesmyn Ward. She put expansive and explosive, a book to be read and reread. I don't think so. Yi Yun Lee said, one of the most brilliant writers working today. And Marilyn Robinson said, a fine, powerful book. This was a no ma'am for me. I mean, me personally, I didn't like it. I gave it a 2 stars. So that's it. Those are all of the books that I read the month of September. Let me know what you guys read. At the moment, you know what I'm reading. I'm into the Les Miserables. So we are, getting into almost page 400 almost at the end of this week. So it's still not too late to join. But I say, if you haven't gotten to page 400 by the end of this week, the only way you could join is if you were only going to read Les Miserables. You could possibly join. We have an ongoing chat, like I said, over on Storygraph. People have started to leave commentary. I think a lot of people are struggling a little bit because they are anticipating the fact that this is a long read. And so we're all a little bit behind. I'm even behind myself. I ain't going to lie. But I'm going to be catching up this week. So come over and join us. This might be your last possibility to read Les Miserables in a group format. A bunch of great people. So if you're interested, you can still join. So that's it for September's reads. On to October. October has started with a bang for me personally. So I hope to be able to read a few more books beside Les Miserables so that I can come back with a fairly decent wrap up. So we're going to see. We're going to see. We're going to see. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you very soon with another video. Bye.